my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our MLB On Deck segment for Wednesday, May 1st. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all of our MLB, NBA, and NFL videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily FanDuel, and DraftKings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for our DFS needs. So make sure to come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So, hey, what up, Jeremy? How you doing out there, bro?
Yo, what up, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty good, bro. Doing pretty good. A little bit. Cash lines did very, very well last night. Didn't have necessarily the right stacks for GPPs, but hey, man, I'm ready to jump back into it. We got a new day to make some money.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, I'm ready to jump into some bats if you're ready to go.
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. So first team I'm going to start with, we got the Philadelphia Phillies. They're at home, really good hitters park, going against Detroit. Daniel Norris is way past his prime. In the past couple of years, I've been picking on him over and over again. Going to go right back to the well. Philadelphia is a team we've been mentioning them. They're a team that they have an absolutely stacked lineup. They've been underperforming a little bit, but this is one of those teams that can put up 10 runs any single night. Get a matchup with the gas can like Daniel Norris, who gives up a 392 WOBA to left-handers, 353 WOBA to right-handers. I legitimately think that you could consider, 1 through 8 in this lineup. I think that you can stack this a bunch of ways. This is a team you want to get some exposure to. If you want me to narrow it down for you, the top 4 guys I'll probably look to stack is probably going to be, honestly, it'll probably be 2 through 5. You're probably looking at Segura, Harper, Hoskins, and Real Muto. Those guys have been swinging some good bats. And then you could also throw in a McCutchen, but a little bit more of a GPP because he hasn't had the best start to the season. But Philadelphia is definitely going to be one of the top teams I'm going to be targeting on this slate. Next team I'm going to go with, I'm going with Atlanta at home. Very good hitters park. The course field of the East. We continue to talk about it. They get a matchup today against Cal Contrill. The kid's making his major league debut today. It's not looking very promising for him. Going against a really, really good team in a really good hitters park. Braves have the second highest supply total on the slate. You gotta like Atlanta right here, man. I'm gonna go with their lefties going against the right-hander. And Quantrill, Albies is swinging a really good bat. Freeman, and then you got to throw in some Donaldson, Acuna, and even Markakis. So 1 through 5 for me, I think are definitely in play. And if you want to look for a low-owned guy that has some stolen base upside, little bit of power upside, but more just get on base. You can look at Inciarte if you want to kind of do the wraparound stack. But for me with Atlanta, looking at 1 through 5 and just kind of moving on. Quick question for you. Do you know anything about this rookie?
Who, Cal?
Yeah, Cal.
Yeah. So 2015 draft pick, I think. 2016. Yeah, 2015 draft pick. He's 19-22 career in the minors with a 4.47 ERA. He's pitched in 67 games.
In the minors.
In the minors.
Oh, yeah. If he got that kind of ERA in the minors, he's going to get hit, in my opinion.
Just let me just give you a little bit of a difference, okay? So I was, yesterday I was huge on the kid making his debut for the Angels last night. And I think
how did he end up doing?
Huh?
How did he end up doing? I didn't see that.
So he ended up giving up, I believe, 2 earned runs, had 27 fantasy points, struck out 6 in 4 2/3, and then they took him out in 4 2/3 innings pitch. He threw, I think, right at the 92 pitch mark, and they took him out. The kid has electric stuff, and the difference being they kind of went out of their way to make sure he could get to 90 pitches, and it was going to be on, like I mentioned yesterday, it was going to be on his efficiency. He struck out, I believe, 6. So
good call right there, bro. That was a good call.
So the difference being, you look at this kid, you look at his stuff, you looked at his slider. His slider and his fastball were legit. I mean, he at one point in time he struck out 5 straight Blue Jays. Okay. So he had electric stuff. Where he got in trouble is he got a little bit and he couldn't pitch backwards like he had been, and it got him a little bit of trouble with control. But you compare him to the situation with Quantrill and even Manny Banuelos the day before. I was all over Manny Banuelos. Then yesterday I'm all over the kid in Anaheim. Today there's Cal Quantrill. This guy does not have the same minor league statistics that was his name Garrett yesterday? I can't even think of the kid's name. I just drew a blank. The Anaheim kid. This kid though, this year's 3-1 in AAA with a 4.68 ERA in 5 games. 25 innings pitched. He's given up 26 hits, 13 earned runs, and he's struck out 24. So he doesn't quite have the same numbers, but he's very close to what this Anaheim kid did from a velocity standpoint and all that. I'll break that down in the deep dive, but there was a clear-cut difference between these two guys, and we'll get to that more in the deep dive. I'm not saying fade him. I'm not saying start him. There's a deeper dive that needs to be taken into to Quantrill.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But like I said, I'm just looking, young guy, good team, good hitters, ballpark. I don't know if it's the best spot for him. Moving on.
I would just tell you this. Last night, probably the most perfect conditions for hitting were in Texas, and that game was pretty much a sleeper.
Yeah. Well, I think that had a lot to do with. We were struggling with that game too, going all the way up into lock with weather, and that way it was a little bit scary.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with it being perfect hitting conditions, which it ended up being, and the game was a sleeper. It doesn't. Good pitching is always going to win out. Period. You pitch and play defense. It's always going to win out. So.
No, I misunderstood. You mean it wasn't that high a scoring game, and we expected it to be more high scoring?
We expected there to be a ton of offense in that game.
That you were saying that it was low owned because of the weather, etc. I got you. I get what you're saying completely.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put all my just because Atlanta today is going to have great. We got to do our due diligence to make sure that we attack the right situations, not just. That's all I'm saying.
Not attack necessarily just a young guy because he's making his debut.
Right. And then like for instance, if we just looked at, peripheral matters, we wouldn't target Martin Perez, and we wouldn't know that the guy has increased his velocity by 2 miles per hour and his tilt and movement on all his pitches. And he's had 2 solid back-to-back starts. And he's only 6.8. So,
And while we're on that subject, I'll move to my next team. I like Houston today. I know Martin Perez has been, he's been pitching very well. He's been pitching pretty good against lefties. Against righties, though, he's still getting hit. He's still getting hit a little bit hard, giving up a 387 WOBA against righties. And Houston is just stacked with righties. It's not even about Martin Perez. Anytime Houston's going against a left-handed pitcher, they're always in play. But I noticed that Martin Perez has been pitching pretty good, and that's why I actually have Houston a little bit lower down my line and have them ranked as my 4th team. They have a implied total of a little bit over 5 projected runs to be scored today. I think that Houston is in play, but I am looking strictly at the righties. 2 guys that are really jumping out to me. Springer, 6 for 21, not the best numbers, but does have 2 home runs. Altuve, 11 for 34 with 6 doubles off Perez, so he has some good numbers. But outside of that, the main guys that you look at for Houston are just they're lefty masters. It's Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Correa. I'm really sticking with those guys. For Houston, I think that those guys are in play. But like you said, Perez has been pitching pretty good. So it isn't the, we got to load up Houston just because they're going to lefty. But I definitely think that they are in play. A team that I'm really, really liking as well. I like Milwaukee. I've been going back to them over and over. Milwaukee's a team, man. They got some good hitters. And the crazy thing about Milwaukee is they have some guys that have really started the season off slow. When everybody starts really clicking and get rolling, this lineup is going to be dangerous. They get a matchup today going against Antonio Sensatella. He gives up a 314 WOBA against left-handers, 320 WOBA against right-handers. You got to look at Kane, Yelich. Braun is going to be in play. Aguilar he picked it up a little bit, double dog day the other day. And then, the guy, Travis Shaw. Travis Shaw the past couple of years has been playing very, very well. He's just had a really slow start to the season, but his price shows. He's priced, fair, and Moustakas is batting in that 3 hole. For me, I mean, I honestly think Milwaukee is one of my favorite teams on this slate going against Cincinnati, and they're in a really good hitters park in Milwaukee. So I definitely think you got to take a consideration to this lineup and you can stack it multiple ways and just kind of go about your business. What is your thoughts on Milwaukee against Cincinnati?
I mean,
You like him?
it's a hitter's ballpark.
Right.
I mean, I think if you like Milwaukee, you might as well like Colorado.
Yeah, like both sides of it. Yeah, no, definitely. I think that you could look at both sides. Going against Chase Anderson as well. Final team, I'm just gonna quickly throw out there. I think is pretty in play. That's a good. I was actually. Hey, it's funny because I was looking at Colorado. I was kind of eyeing them a little bit, but I couldn't pull the trigger on them. So the fact that you mentioned Mike made me feel a little bit more comfortable because they were somebody on my radar. Final team, though, going to look at bat-wise. We're going to look at the Nats going against Mike Mikolas. They're in Washington, not too bad of a hitter's park. The wind is blowing out 7 miles an hour. It looks like pretty good hitting condition. Mikolas gives up a 303 WOBA to left-handers, 267 WOBA to right-handers. I like the lefties. I'm going to be looking at Adam Eaton. You can look at Soto. Adams, if he's going to be in the lineup, he's been swinging a pretty good bat when he's getting the opportunity. And then Robles as well. Robles he's doing pretty good in that 2-hole. I think that Robles is definitely in play. But Washington is more down the line for me. They're one of my 5th or 6th teams. I just wanted to mention them because I do like the spot for them. And that's really where I'm at with bats. I mean, just to really quickly recap it, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Houston, Nats, and then you probably throw in a little bit of Colorado as well.
Yeah.
Who you got for us pitcher-wise?
I mean, there's a bunch. Look, there's a bunch of ways you can go with this, and it's going to be a matter of finding out how to be different, like it is every single day. More so on this day because you do have Scherzer, you have Aaron Nola, you got Jacob DeGrom, you got Corey Kluber.
It's the day where we got the pay-ups.
You have a bunch. You have a bunch of guys, right? You have a bunch of guys going here. So, I think Minnesota is an interesting team going against Colin McHugh. Obviously, the Dodgers going against Madison Bumgarner. That's an interesting matchup. But Zach Wheeler. This is a crazy thing for me to say. Zach Wheeler pitches 2 days ago, and Zach Wheeler coming off 2 really good starts, and you look at he'd had kind of a unique situation because his first 2 starts were back-to-back starts against Washington, and then his second 2 starts, so his 3rd and 4th start were back-to-back starts against Philadelphia. What I liked about Zach Wheeler was his stuff looked so much better, and he wasn't relying on the slider that all of these Mets pitchers have relied on and thrown so heavy over the past 2 or 3 years and caused him so many elbow injuries. So, in looking into Wheeler, one thing that I saw was that the Reds have 5 or 6 guys in that lineup that have had a number of batted ball events resulting in fly balls and line drives with exit velocities above 95 miles per hour. And sure enough, they went and they, I told you this after the lock when I went very heavy on Wheeler. I said, man, the one thing that just worries me is Cincinnati's right-handed bat or their bats against right-handed pitching. And sure enough, they hit him. I think Cincinnati's very sneaky again today because they have so many of these guys that have so many batted ball events against right-handed pitching. Yeah, he can go out there. DeGrom go out there today and shut him down. But DeGrom and Syndergaard have not had the best season. This is not their career years we're talking about. They've been vulnerable. Look at DeGrom's last start, right? I mean, against Milwaukee, they got after him. They got after him good. So, I think that this is a slate where you take a couple of shots because there's so many guys you can pay up for that maybe you take a couple of shots in tournaments with teams going against some of these aces because it's going to be against the grain. And if one of them happens to pop, you may be one of the only people that are on that and have these guys at 1 or 2% owned. So that's the kind of day I think it is. I think Aaron Nola is very interesting. I don't know if anybody watched the Detroit game yesterday. I had a lot of exposure to Velasquez and Bauer. So I was really interested to see what Velasquez could do. the guy has a ton of strikeout upside, and he showed that early. He just got into some trouble, and then he got hit and gave him some earned runs. And because he had so many strikeouts early, he had too many pitches, and they ended up taking him out of the game early. So Nola, I think there's some strikeouts to be had. He's pitched very well in spots this season. I think Max Fried is very interesting. A really interesting way to look at pitching as well is from the standpoint, which team do you think is going to give run support to their pitcher? I like your call on Washington with Scherzer, because Scherzer could probably be in a spot where he's against a good hitting team in St. Louis. He could, we haven't seen Scherzer dominate. Scherzer, I believe, going into his last start, had a 4.54 ERA. So it's not like he's dominated either. And all the sexy names on this slate have been hit this year. Scherzer's been hit. DeGrom's been hit. Ryu's been hit. Nola's been hit. I think that was it the very first start of the season when Kluber got banged up. So all of these guys have been hit. So, to me, that's the kind of slate it is. You're going to have to get some exposure to these top names because of their upside. But I also think you can stack against them a little bit with some minimum exposure and take a couple of chances, because all these guys have been vulnerable. It's just a matter of which one of those are you gonna go after. And I do like the fact that Cincinnati's got some very hard contact against right-handed pitching.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just a quick note. Kluber, he hasn't been pitching good all year. The guy's been pitching horrible this year.
Yeah, I won't say he's pitched horrible. I won't say he's pitched horrible.
Well, compared to the norms, though, you're used to him getting you at least 6 innings and 8 Ks and maybe 1 or 2 runs. But he's had some spots where he definitely has got blown up this year.
He just last year there was a stretch where he had like 7 straight starts of 50+ fantasy points, right? So you look this year, he gets 37 against the Cubs, he gets 34 against Minnesota, 49 against Detroit, and 39 against Atlanta. Other than that, it's very run-of-the-mill stuff that's not worth paying up for, right? So you look at Cleveland today going against Miami, and on paper it looks really good, but there's a few teams that have been just a pest, and that's Miami has been a pest, and Arizona has been a pest. Teams that don't have star power on them that have shown the ability to ruin starts for bigger names.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey man, that's all we got. Got to get out of here. Get these early only lines in. I know we both got a bunch of those to get done real quick. But hey man, if you guys want a more in-depth analysis on today's slate, you want to check out some NBA. We got some NHL up. PGA on the weekends, NASCAR on the weekends, MMA on the weekends, a bunch of stuff here, dfscheatsheet.com. Hey, remember I told you guys, we launched a 14-day free trial. Check out our site for 2 weeks. Make sure it's right for you guys before you decide to pay, man. Hey, we don't need you just to come sign up, take your money. We want to make sure that, hey, we set you up and you're ready to win day in and day out. So make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Hey, outside of that, good luck on your guys' contest tonight, and peace out.